This isn't even the funny part.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Yeah, man, I might be late, but I made it, and that's good enough for second place here at the Hard Rock Lunchbox. How's everybody today? It is Thursday, at least I think so. I'm sorry, I just got out of a hour-long Zoom meeting, and my head is super spinning. I also have a chest pain right here. It's not over my heart, so I'm not terribly worried about it. But I will say, like, as I get older, those chest pains start to mean something a little bit more to me. I don't know if anybody else has that going on. So what's going on in the world today? There is plenty. Oh, let me fix that. I can't be horrendously monster looking on camera. And yet, here I am. I cannot figure out what to do with this since I cut my hair. Like, I used to wear it back, and then I realized, like, it's just spiraling out of control. I need to get a handle on that, but like, it is so far down my list of things to fix today that I don't even know where it is. But you know how we do the top 20 every now and then? I don't think that would be in the top 20 because right now I'm worried about this. Like, I don't know what is going on. Oh, that's a good look. That should be the thumbnail for the show. Man, I've got like dark shadows, dark bags under my eye, and it could be this whole not sleeping thing. I don't know. I'm not a sleep expert, so I don't know. Yes, we'll be dealing with chat news at some point during the show, I assure you. Everybody can hear me, I guess. That's good. It's spiral. All right, good. All right, good. Everybody's in the chat. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to hop on over to 99WNRR.com, or if that's too much for you, go to the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Wait, hardrocklunchbox.com, and there is a link to the live show there always, plus all the archives. I'm going to get to housekeeping in a second. Actually, I could just do the housekeeping right now. So there's... It's actually so funny. Like, I'm still laughing about it. Just bear with me. We will absolutely cover all this nonsense. So the new episode of the Top 20 is out. Aside from the other things, like me still fighting with my Logitech camera. Hi, Logitech camera. By the way, I think I'm going to be working on this. I'm going to be moving this banner. Yeah, if you thought it was a backdrop, you are mistaken. It's an actual banner, and I think I'm going to be redoing how I do this thing. I think I'm going to bring in a big black... I have a big black blanket. That could have gone a couple of ways. I have a big black blanket. And I'm going to put that up, and then I'm going to just put this banner in the middle, I think. And then just permanently just ruin the entire studio right here, because why not? Like, at what point does it really even matter? What I want to get is I want to get a big shower curtain, actually, so I could just, like, shave it all around and then pull it all back. But I have to do some work down here. The sheer volume of time that I have spent talking about the very few things I actually have to do down here to fix this room up will, like, quadruple the amount of time it would actually take. So that's on me. That's your weekly Why Does DJ Suck of the moment of the week. Thank you very much. So aside from that kind of nonsense, simple changes, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't really remember what it was about to be. Oh, yeah, talking about how I'm really happy we're going to have a really bad hurricane season so we can start wiping out, just like carving away some of the coast. I don't know if last week was the week I was talking about DeSantis actually doing the financial thing. Did I do that? Did I talk about was that last week? Does anybody know? I have notes here that I'm just like I'm staring right at them, but not reading them because I just suck. Oh, and holy shit, New Jersey Legal Weed Day. Yeah, everybody. I got to watch about 3 minutes of news this morning before I got to work, and I always watch Pix 11. And Katie Corrado was over in one of the New Jersey facilities. I think she said like Bloomfield or whatever, and she was just talking to the people that were like online first thing in the morning. Keep in mind, it's still a cash thing. Like you have to bring cash, so it's kind of like Village Pub, and if if that rings any bells to you, so you got to bring cash. But it's legal weed day in Jersey, and they're expecting it to bring in billions of dollars. So New York, I know we have it legal, but we're not going to see anything till the end of the year. Let's get moving on that. We don't want to give all our money to Jersey. I mean, look, Jersey is supposed to be our armpit, and I apologize to anybody from Jersey, but they know that. What's a Dimitri Martin joke? New Jersey is the only state that can be smelled by other states, right? Like, not even my joke. I'm not even sure that it is a joke. But yeah, legal weed. They can go there. They do not have cookies and brownies for some reason. I don't know if that's part of the... it'd be really funny. Like, I could see, like, Bloomberg, when he was still mayor of New York City, like, make that rule. Like, New Yorkers, you guys are fat enough. You don't really need cookies and brownies. But, like, gummies and stuff like that. Like, I think I really do appreciate the beauty of legal edibles. But I do think it's funny. The Attorney General of New York actually... Sorry, excuse me, sir. The Attorney General of New Jersey actually came out and said that there shouldn't really be any backlash against, like, police officers using marijuana, and I can't believe I said the word marijuana, but I'm a professional broadcaster, using marijuana on their off-duty hours. I mean, I think it's funny that he did have to say, like, obviously not on the job, like, you can't smoke weed and be a cop in New Jersey. Like, I think that, like, as much as it really shouldn't need to be said, we also have signs that say don't eat the paint. So, like, that makes sense. But I think it was the mayor of Jersey City that said he would fire any police officers that use pot when they're off on their weekends or whatever, their off hours are, which I just find the most ridiculous thing. Like, you can't smoke pot, like, on your day off, but, like, cops who famously drink too much. I mean, the alcoholism rate with cops and firemen is, like, through the roof. And they're just like, that's fine. You can drink as much as you want, just no pot. It just shows you how old and outdated and stupid the mentality is of a lot of people that are, like, actually in charge of our lives, which is just freaking bananas. So, honestly, I don't even know if that was... But I thought it was. But maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But whatever it was, DeSantis had signed, like, the financial education bill or whatever, which I thought was a good idea, and then immediately did something else because he's a douchebag, and that's fine. Over on Bacon Is My Podcast, we are still in the month of April, which means it is, ready? Double Bacon Month! Everybody loves a double order of bacon, especially since they keep, like, totally effing up the bacon, so it's not as good as it used to be, so you have to order a double. So that it's good for the Bimp Boys for keeping up with the times, I think is probably the way to look at it. But, so they're doubling up, so they have a full interview with Tim from Telltale and Mike from Sons of a Tradesman. We played, I think, one of their songs here on the box. Those are the full interviews that are up right now, but they have the 7 questions with Stud Count, who I've been playing here on the box. Full disclosure, I got them from the same place that Mike got them, and Mike got them from, that's how I got them. Thank you, Mike. Stud Count, and who I'll probably be interviewing at some point, and then Jake from Old Currents, who I also played here on the show. I may or may not be interviewing them, but I'm definitely interested in interviewing the gang over at Stud Count, so that'll probably happen at some point. I'm just waiting for things to calm down just a little bit on my end. So check out everything going on Strangerhood TV. Always new programming every single week. And if you check it out in the month of April, you'll get way too much bacon if there is such a thing. So if you're into that kind of stuff, that's fine. So what's funny, and what actually just sort of makes me laugh a little bit, is so I've been talking for almost a year. That's usually about my start date to actually doing something date. Talking for almost a year about trying to really improve the visibility of the Hard Rock Lunchbox, and specifically the top 20. I don't do anything to promote it. In fact, other people do way more to promote it than I do, and for that I am incredibly grateful. Thank you for that, because this one's not on me in the sense that I just self-sabotage. That's not what's happening. Like, I've made a whole lot of changes. Well, not a whole lot of changes, but I've made some big changes in my life to try and recuperate and get back some of this, some time I've lost, basically just trying to be alive. It's very difficult to work, one or two jobs, like run a soccer team, run a band, and have a family. Like all these things take time, right? And I will tell you, for those of you that are younger than me, which is probably everybody on Earth at this point, because I'm about as old as those terracotta soldiers they found in China that time, like roughly that, somewhere between that, Cleopatra, and the dinosaurs. So, everybody that's younger than me, just like look out ahead, because you do, like, I'm not saying you're going to turn into a sloth, which would not be the worst thing in my opinion, but things get harder to do and they take a little bit more time. And my resilience, I have found over the past year, is absolute garbage. I cannot bounce back as fast. So sometimes it takes me a little while to get going and stuff like that. And I'm not like, hey man, get off my yard. Like, I'm not that kind of old at all. I'm just telling you that life, it gets a little bit more complicated, and sometimes the weight is a little bit harder to just sort of breathe through. So I move a little bit slower. So all that other stuff. So I'm trying to get more time to do stuff. So that it's not me self-sabotaging the Hard Rock Lunchbox to the top 20. Like, I have everything in place that I can do in place. But one of the things I said I was going to do is I was going to start actively posting it, right? Like on Facebook. I am so rarely on Facebook unless I'm in the mood to pick a fight with somebody or trying to point out something specific that I think is important. We'll get to that in a second. But like, I'm just so not on there. So I just don't think to even do stuff. But what I started doing 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was 3 weeks ago, but like it would only take effect, is I started using the schedule function. There's actually a Facebook page for the Hard Rock Lunchbox. There always has been. I don't do much with it. The reason I don't do much with it is the same reason I don't do much with the Revel 9 page, which is you want interactions, you basically have to pay for them. When I do it on my personal account, I used to get lots of interactions, lots of comments. Most people within the sound of my voice have been part of, or at least reviewed, a comment thread that I've discussed, usually political, or sometimes in the old days it was band related, that would end up with like, I don't know, 500 responses on it and like 300 comments. Like, I've had some really busy traffic when I've discussed like issues, again, like politics or band stuff specifically, something that really engages people. Like, I don't think I've ever put up a post that had more than 500 responses to it from the Revel 9 page, and that includes shit like our new record or a new video or stuff like that. Like, we've got over 10,000 fans, but man, they just don't see it ever, because if I don't pay for it, they won't see it. And I'm pretty sure that the biggest ones that I've gotten engagement on, like in the 1,200 range, anything over 1,000, something I've had to pay for. And that's fine in the sense that I understand how the game is played, and okay, like, I can play by the rules or whatever, but like, it is such bullshit that I just opt to not do it all that often. I'd rather do something like this show to promote the band and stuff like that, so I do that. So anyway, all that being said, I just don't use the Hard Rock Lunchbox page all that much. So what I decided to do is that every week when I post the top 20 on the Strangerhood TV, I schedule it to come out Thursday mornings. So I started scheduling a post to come out on the Hard Rock Lunchbox page at the same time. I was like, this is the least I could do. I'm here. It's all in my head. It's basically at that point a cut and paste because it's the same description. But so I started doing that a couple weeks ago. So I go to look at what happened last week when I posted it, and I was looking, like, it says, like, you know, when you post, like, how many people have seen your post. So it was out for a week. No, it was out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? So 3 days. It got 2 views. This isn't even the funny part. So it got 2 views, which is kind of, I want to say it's what I expected, but it's not. It's actually much lower than I expected, because I fully expected at least some of my people to see it, like people that are like in the Hard Rock Lunchbox group that are signed up on the page. I expected them to at least see it over the course of a couple of days, but nope, they didn't. That's not how that worked. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But two. How many people saw what you did last week? 2. Now, depending on what you did last week, that could be good news or that could be bad news. But how many engagements did you have for the top 20 last week? 2. Now, truth be told, it could be all my performance issues. Thank you, Logitech, for pointing that out yet again. But here's actually the funnier part. So I know that, right? So 2 views, like, yep, okay, Facebook, thanks for screwing me over, screwing the little guy over just a little bit more. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to drop $5. Like, that's it. Just to dip in my toe in. Like, literally dip in my littlest toe in. I'm going to drop $5 on an ad for the upcoming one. Oh, I think this is the one where I was talking about Elon Musk. In fact, I know it was the one I was talking about Elon Musk because that is the funny part of the story. So, I go to advertise. Like, so there's a whole if you've never run an ad on Facebook, it's not really important. It's not all that hard. Honestly, the hardest part is picking who you want it to go to. So in this particular case, it's like anybody in America, anybody I've ever talked to, anybody that's ever fanned the band or has interacted with me, I don't really give a shit. Right. That's kind of what I went with. So I just wanted to start there. Because people I interact with either like agree with what I'm saying or completely disagree with what I'm saying. So it's a good market, right? People want to hop up on Strangerhood TV and be like, DJ is so full of shit. I'll be like, hey man, I'll like that comment right there. Like, I have no problem with that. So like, that's what I was advertising. So I $5 and I put the whole thing and I put the description in. And I always write the same style of description, right? Like something that the show or the top 20 is mainly about, and then like 3 or 4 other things that happen. So, this is so not what I wanted to talk about. I actually had something so lined up, but it's just striking me as funny. So I go through the ad process, right? So here's the link that I want to advertise. Here's the post I want to advertise. And the post is basically the comments that I put under the top 20 video, right? That description, like I just said, about the show and then a couple other things that happen. And I don't do any of the hashtags. I don't need to get flagged for any of those things. It's just not worth it to me. So I put it in. All looks good. I pick my demographic and I submit. $5 budget, right? Like it's nothing. But I want to see if it gets above 2. So $5 budget. So I post it. And it's not immediate, but it's like 30 seconds later I get a message. Like it pops up. Like it was quick enough that I hadn't, closed Facebook yet, so that long. And the message is like, your ad has been rejected. And I'm like, okay, of course it is. I'm fresh off my victory with YouTube, so I'm like, all right, motherfucker, well, like, what do we want to do? But it's like, review the details of this decision. So I'm like, okay, so I just click on that button. And it just brings me to my ad and then the explanation of why it failed. And it says, something along the lines of like, we are very careful with ads that are taken that involve stuff like, politicians, and we need to make sure you're who you say you are, right? Like, so like there's a verification process to prove that I am DJ from the Hard Rock Lunchbox and the top 20, as if anybody was trying to steal that particular identity. I can't imagine how bad your shit has to be to want to be this. Like, if this is your opt, like this is what you're like trying to get to and you're going to steal it, like, I kind of feel like you earned it because like I definitely didn't steal it. But anyway, so it's like, yeah, we have to verify who you are and your intentions, make sure you're not taking money from PACs, which I thought was funny. Like, so they're doing all this stuff, basically all this stuff that the right-wing Republicans are like bitching about, right? Like, Facebook's not fair to us because we can't go on there and lie about stuff, right? Like, I get it, okay, that's true. But something. Oh, so like I'm like, I didn't actually do anything like super political this week, but it also said something about public figures, like not slandering public figures, like, which is fine. Like, slander is actually not part of free speech according to the Supreme Court, if you still believe in that sort of thing, which I know that a lot of you probably don't. But that's true, and that is the rule. So I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I start reading. It's like, DJ talks about like all this other stuff, but like, also on today's show, blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. And then it's like Elon Musk, the ass hat. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Yep. I said that. It's like, and then at the very bottom, it's like, would you like to have us review or contest this decision? And I was like, nope. And I don't know why I find that so funny, but you really have to understand the headspace I was in. I was like, yeah, man, I didn't do anything. Oh, there it is. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think we can all agree that I absolutely did say that thing. So if you're wondering why nobody has seen the ad this week, it's because I wasn't able to get the ad out. So all there was this week was just a post in the Hard Rock Lunch page that I'm sure 2 of you maybe have seen. even if not engaged. So I'll try and do better this week. I don't think I said anything about. I mean, I did say that I referenced calling Elon Musk an asshat. I'm just not going to put it in the description this time. So maybe I'll have an ad next week. Maybe I won't. I really, really, really had every intention of talking about Mallory McMurray. Do I have that name right? Mallory. Let me see if I can find it. Did I have it? I think I pulled it up. Please hold. Please hold. Please hold. McMorrow. Mallory McMorrow? Mallory? Mallory McMorrow from Michigan. I really wanted to spend the entire top 20 talking about this because, in my opinion, it is the most important thing that has happened in politics in a very long time. And I'm going to discuss it during the show. I will let you know when it's coming so that you guys can hopefully pay attention because I think it's really important and it's something I've been talking about for a very long time. But we'll get to that. I realized I've used up the entire top 20 telling you about why Elon Musk has prevented me from running an ad for the top 20. Indirectly, of course. This one actually wasn't his fault and had nothing to do with him being an asshat. Although, if he wasn't an asshat, I probably wouldn't have said it, and then we'd all be looking at the ad I have right now, but here we are. So I'm going to stop babbling away, like the brook that I am. I'm going to play you some music that I hope you'll appreciate. I certainly know I do. But in honor of New Jersey being the most awesome state of the tri-state area right now, because of all their... I was going to say free weed, but that's different. Although I did say, like, I asked Corey, my son, gamer and smoker, like, if he was happy that, like, weed's legal now. He looked right at me. He's like, dude, I'm a white man. Like, weed has always been legal for me. And that kid has never been more right than that particular sentence. So in honor of them, here's a little day to remember that I'm sure has nothing to do with legal weed in Jersey, but I'm saying it does. And since we all believe in free speech, I guess I can lie right at you.